calling you, don't say no. Don't say no to God's Spirit anyway, so that's just a bad idea. But He's got more for you. There is more in your faith. There is more power and authority to walk in. It will change your family. It will change and transform your life and your walk with God. And so make sure you avail yourself to that. A couple of details being Tuesday is the only midweek full day commitment. And even that we're a little flexy on depending on what your work requirements are. But if God says, He sends a way. So make sure if you're like, I'm not sure work or finance or anything like that will work out, put your name in, see what God does because He's faithful. That's right. And so internship is there. Then this Tuesday, we've got Remnant Room relaunching for 2023. And Remnant Room is all about, in the Old Testament, I don't know what that word is. Old Testament talks about this phrase remnant, and it's the remnant will rise. It's the remnant that carries the Spirit of God within the people of Israel. And so Remnant Room is about a people coming together and actually joining faith through prayer and worship, through adoration, through intercession to see not just us have a holy huddle, but the small will break out for the masses. And so exactly what we're praying, God, bring revival, bring and break out into our community, into our families. And it's so exciting just to see the power of prayer. We're seeing it move in schools. We're seeing it move in life groups. We're seeing it move in people's lives and families. So find yourself here on Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Make yourself available for that. Then, lastly, it's a two-handed thing, but yeah, you know what's going on. We have released a new collaborative single between City Point Worship and Kingdom Culture Worship, where we have joined two songs, and it just, honestly, it is an anthem for the spirit realm. And it's going, giants fall down at the goodness of God. And so jump online, all things, I think the P even means Pandora, which I didn't know that was still available. What a win. So jump on that, put it on Spotify, whatever you choose. Make sure you set the atmosphere for your worship for your family, for your work day. I'm not sure where you work, but maybe you need that drive with this song playing to jack you up ready for the work day. I'm saying, Gypsy, I didn't want to see your head say yes to that. You work here, so. Sorry, I'm just pointing her out. It's not actually true. Then lastly, Kingdom Builders Social is coming up. Kingdom Builders is all about a people, not just business owners, not even just entrepreneurs, but people who's got a heart for marketplace, whether they're leaders in school, whether they're leaders in different political spaces, just to actually set the tone for them, for their region, and actually be a leader, a Christian in their place of influence. And so Kingdom Builders Social is come and be a part of a people. It's not just about gleaning information, it's actually belonging and networking with people, and through that we grow stronger and we influence more intensely and intently. And so you can scan that. All these details are also on the QR code. If you want to scan that on the seat pocket in front of you, you can become a part of that. But we're going to come around a moment of generosity right now, just before we get to the core panel. And but even before that, actually, I was just standing in worship, and I want to, as a people, as a joint church, I just want to pray for something in particular. And I felt that there was a spirit of liberty to break something very specifically, and the phrase was blanket of darkness. And what was interesting to me, because a blanket is something that covers you entirely, but also has a sense of familiarity and comfort. And so I'm not sure if there's people in this place, but feel that sense of weightiness, that I am covered by darkness and covered by a sense of maybe it's a mental thing, maybe it's a situation. But the song that we sung tonight, that Danny led us in, that collide being, remember who you belong to. Don't look at the weight that is on you, remember who your Jesus is. Your Jesus is greater, your Jesus is more mighty, and that phrase breakthrough is yours tonight, that liberty is yours tonight. And so right now, we don't usually do this, but let's just close our eyes. If that's you here tonight, you know, I'm feeling bound by a bit of darkness, and I feel like I need a breakthrough. There's a spirit of liberty for you tonight. Do not settle for what has been when God has more for you. If that's you in this place, I don't want you to shoot up your hand or anything like that, but I just want to offer you to open your heart. because we're just going to pray right now. Lord Father, I just pray. Father, would you Spirit break over and break through any blankets of darkness that are sitting over souls, over minds, over hearts tonight. Father, we remind souls of your goodness. We remind souls of your love. We remind souls of who you are, not of what has been done to them, by them, or spoken over them. Lord Father, so we set liberty to them tonight in your name. And now just as we lean into offering, there's a scripture that we want to share here, and it's 1 Timothy chapter 6. Chapter 6, verse 17, it says this: "Command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Instead, command them to be good, or to do good and be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share everything." Why? "In this way, they will lay up for themselves treasures in heaven as a firm foundation for the coming age." And I love this part. "So that they may take hold of this life that is truly life." I love, in this, it speaks to me that if we settle for wealth and our heart hope in wealth, we actually settle for less than what God's best is for our life. He intends us to be not rich and settle for anxiousness, settle for all the things that worries of wealth come around us. He actually wants us to put our hope in Him, our hope in God. And so our heart's destination, our heart's reliance is truly found in who He is. And so settling for anything less, even if it seems good, no, let's redirect our heart. And how do we do it? Through serving, through generosity. And as we settle, we get the true life of what God has. And so buckets are going to come around in just a second, but let's quickly pray over that. God, bless this offering. Bless your kingdom. And Lord Father, thank you for giving us the opportunity to live in the fullness of who you've called us to live. Amen. Ways of giving are on the screen right now. Fantastic. Well, if you weren't here this morning, you're in for the treat. You're in for a bit of a powwow with the core team. And so I'd love just welcome Pastor Carolina as she comes and introduces all the call.
Thanks, Cam. You might as well just stay here with me because I'm about to invite you back up onto the stage. So it is Commissioning Sunday, and once a year we talk about this concept of let's really just dig in and see what God wants to do through us as a community. And so this year we thought that we'd put the whole core team on the stage. It's actually not the whole team. A few of them are away. We've got some of the core team here, and I'm going to chat with them, ask some questions so that they can tell you about the vision of the church and the ministries that they're leading. And so, as we do that, I'm going to call them up. Their beautiful faces are going to come up on the screen, and we'll applaud them. The first one is Cam. Cam and Amanda are our operations pastors, and Amanda's just taken on the role of pastoral director as well. Ange, will you just stand for a minute? So beautiful Ange has been our pastoral care director for many years. Can we give her a round of applause? You have a very amazing mum, and Colin and Ange are just the fibre of this church, and they're staying, but Ange has accepted a role in one of the local schools, and so Monday to Friday is going to look a little bit different for her. Sunday's mostly the same. So thank you, Ange. And so Amanda's taken on pastoral director role, and she's just with baby Lucas at the moment, I think. Okay, who else have we got? Let me call up Gypsy, sweet Gypsy, who is executive administration, and Gypsy just started at the end of last year, and she's already just running laps around me, which is just awesome. Young families, Josh and Belle, why don't you jump up here? These guys are amazing. Both have completed the internship, both found Jesus in this place and found each other, and then now having children and doing all those good things. Families, Gordon and Rach, come on up. These guys are amazing. So awesome, these two running the families department Is Ben here? Where's Ben? He's not here. Well, Ben is running the men's ministry and he's awesome. We just give him a round of applause in his absence. Lums and Megan, come on up, running the Polynesian ministry. So great. Lums and Megan are also my next door neighbours. And it is a fun time. Okay, Marcos and Tess are going to be heading up the Filipino ministry. Kelsey and Lydia, why don't you jump up? Kids ministry. Kelsey, you absolutely just nailed it tonight. Thank you for leading us like that. That was awesome. Ash and Marlene, jump on up. The youth ministry. How great. Marlene, I want to know whether you got that assignment finished today. Yes, she did. She did. So she wasn't here this morning because she was being studious, but she's here tonight. Barry and Charmaine, come on out, running life groups. Incredible couple doing amazing things supporting our life groups and life group leaders. Mark and Susanna aren't here. They're running the Love Army, which is our community outreach and the things we do in the community. Let's give them a round of applause. Emily and Xavier, who are not a couple, but they're running young adults together. Look, it's the elephant in the room, all right? So there you go. Dustin and Andrea also are away running Kingdom Builders. You want to be at the social in a couple of weeks' time. That's amazing. Remy and Steve. Remy's running our cafe, so let's give them a round of applause. Also my in-laws, so pretty remarkable people right here, running the cafe. Shakina, why don't you come on up, running the marketing ministry. Here she comes, she is awesome. And Ray, who is also a hero, heading up that, all that happens back there somewhere. Yes. I'm too scared to step in that booth in case I touch something and we're all ejected out of our seats or the place blows up. And it does sometimes, doesn't it? Last week, things blew up. Yeah. Yeah, and it was because Boaz pushed the wrong button. But how cool was it? Because it was in the 10:30 and literally the worship service just went from here to here. And I'm texting Ray, how much was it to just replace those silly things? And $5,000. So at the end of the service, I went, guys, we need $5,000. And $6,000 came in 10 minutes. Praise the Lord. All right, well, we're going to hear from these guys in a minute. But before we do, I'm really excited to just share a little bit about who we are as City Point Redcliffe. So you may or may not know that City Point Church is a global church. We have 10 locations right around the world. And we heard from our senior pastor, Mark Ramsey, on the Up and Out video, where he shared the vision of the church is to unmistakably influence our world for good and for God. And so that's the banner we all come under, to unmistakably influence our world for good and for God. And that statement, the words in that statement, if you deconstruct it, they're all so powerful. The word unmistakably, like we don't just maybe or kind of sometimes, or like if you notice, we unmistakably do this. Everywhere we go, whatever setting we're in, we're unmistakably influencing our world. And so then the word influence, there's a mandate of leadership on City Point. It's in our DNA. And so we unmistakably make an impact. We bring influence. We are positive change agents everywhere we go. We unmistakably influence our world for good and for God. And some people ask, well, why do you put good before God? And scriptures tell us, and specifically in Proverbs, that good opens the door in many people's lives to God. And so we unmistakably, without a doubt, influence our world for good and for God. And so at the end of last year, after Christmas, that weird period between Christmas and it was after production, even weirder. It's like, is it Christmas yet? No, it's not. What day is it? I don't know. We went away on a staff retreat, and Cam actually led us in this discussion all day as we were looking at the shoreline in Shorncliffe. And how do we actually interpret the heartbeat document which governs City Point Global? And if you go citypointchurch.com and search heartbeat, you'll find a document that embodies who we are. And so we talked about this, and he asked us some really hard questions that took hours to discuss. But you know, we asked the question, why do we exist? And we look at unmistakably influencing our world for good and for God. Why do we exist? Well, we exist to bring heaven to earth so that more of earth can go to heaven. So wherever you go tomorrow, tonight, on Thursday, you exist to bring heaven into that environment, because you may just impact someone to go to heaven. We exist to bring more of heaven to earth so that more of earth can go to heaven. And then we ask the question, well, how does that look in who we are as City Point Redcliffe? What are the behaviors that interpret that inform that? And I love these. The first one is, I am about my Father's business. So no matter where I am or what I'm doing, I'm about the Father's business. That means I'm not about my own business. I'm not about anyone else's business. I'm about my Father's business. And so these three behaviors actually come out of the heartbeat document, because at the back you'll see the attitudes. There are 10 attitudes. And so we wanted to really boil them down and go, well, who are we as City Point Redcliffe to behave those things? And so I'm about my Father's business. Number 2, anyone connected to me will grow. Anyone connected to me will grow. No matter what we're doing, if someone has the privilege of coming alongside you, they're going to be better as a result. They're going to be more as a result. You're going to call heaven out of them. You're going to draw their potential out of them. As someone who attends and is a part of the City Point family, City Point Redcliffe family, anyone connected to you will grow. And the last one is, I lift people and I lift rooms. When I walk into a room, it's better. I have an atmosphere of praise and gratitude and celebration. I am filled with hope and expectation. I lift people and I lift rooms. People feel better after being with me. People feel more after being with me. People actually feel like they can do more, achieve more, see more, believe more, hope for more. I lift people and I lift rooms. So that's how we behave. And then straight out of the City Point Heartbeat document, how do we do this? What do? Well, we do good. We do good. So we've got the Love Army. We do meals, hampers. We do working bees around the community. We have Red Frogs. We have rescue homes in third world nations. We do good. Everywhere we go, we do good. We make disciples. So you connected to someone else, that someone else is growing. We do this by making disciples. And number 3, through empowering services. We believe in the corporate getting together so that we can be built up to be sent out, so that you can be built up, empowered, equipped to then go out. So you are all that God needs you to be, and you're achieving what it is He's put you on the earth to do. And whether that's a Sunday service or a life group or youth ministry or whatever it might be, we believe that we're doing these behaviors, we're bringing more of heaven to earth through empowering services. Awesome. There we go. This is the 3rd time I've done this, all right? And so we've had an amazing morning. And so now I'm going to ask you guys some questions at random. And this morning, a bunch of you didn't get to share because Ash stole the spotlight the whole morning. So we're going... No. Okay, I am going to ask Emily. Where is she? Emily and Xavier have just said yes to running the young adult ministry. And it has been so much fun already working with you. And I just know it's going to be amazing. Absolutely incredible. Emily, I just want to know what's your City Point story? How did you come to be here and where you're at now? Just give us a quick snapshot of what that looks like for you.
All right. Well, this is my 6th year being at City Point Redcliffe. And I got plugged into the youth and every Sunday service and to kids serving. And I attended Mueller as well, so I knew a lot of Mueller kids going to this youth. And then through that, I was very much moved to start life groups at Mueller, which sort of had a big impact, obviously, from church that had my heart. And then I led a leadership life group because I wanted to sort of lead leaders to lead life groups, sort of how this church does it. And I thought that was so like empowering how City Point does it. And then I said yes to YA. But I think the pinnacle moment sort of being at City Point was the 2019 youth camp, which was when I encountered God for myself and not through my family. So, yeah.
Wow, so good. Do you want to pass the microphone to Xavier? Can you just tell us quickly what your heart for young adults is? What's the vision for young adults?
Well, our vision for young adults, specifically even just the services that young adults attend, we want at least the first 4 front rows to be filled. But we ultimately want to see people, young adults who are on fire for God, who want to live, differently than the rest of the world. And we ultimately just want to be a part of that and be a part of, being part of teams who actually want to make a difference and seeing people transformed and lives saved. So
it's a powerful age group. It's a powerful ministry. The most disposable time, the most disposable income. When you get married and have children, you suddenly go, what did I do with all my time and money? Right? Am I right? So it's powerful, and young adults and youth ministry are just pivotal age groups. So let's segue to youth. Ash, why don't you tell us your story here, and maybe you and Marlene can then tell us about the youth ministry.
Yeah, so I started coming to City Point. I got invited by a very pretty girl in high school. And then, I rocked up to a Christmas production one year, got saved, and then, as soon as I graduated, just in the house every week, every opportunity I could, got connected in a good young adults life group that was just like out there after church. Just really got connected there, got connected in the youth ministry, which is the best ministry of the church. And then, started running life groups with Adam and just like really just jumped into ministry. And it's been great. Yeah. What was the other question?
Just tell us about youth. What's the vision for the youth ministry?
Youth.
Yeah.
Look, we have such a big vision for this region, hey. Just want to see a bunch of young people set on fire for God, going into their schools. So really passionate about seeing young people built up in God, discipling them, empowering them as well, like getting them sound desk is a great place for discipleship. So Lockie kills it up there, Bronnet kills it up there. Come on. Yeah.
Amazing. Awesome. You want to add anything, Marlene? No. Oh, so good. Well, you mentioned the sound desk. So let's go to Ray, who runs production. Ray, tell us the why behind the what. Like, you stand in the back, no one sees you. You push buttons, no one knows what on earth you're doing.
That's 2 of us.
Why? What's the why behind the what for production?
Look, I honestly think that we serve a purpose in this house, and I think the biggest purpose that we serve behind that production desk is to create an atmosphere for the Holy Spirit to come in and reside with us, and to be with us in this auditorium as we praise, as we worship, and as we learn through the word that is given by people like yourself to us. So I think it's an integral part of the gearing, and it certainly is an absolute pleasure to work with that production team that's sitting behind that desk at the moment, including those that are sitting in the auditorium too. I mean, it's a phenomenal group of people that bring together dynamics that really make for a good team.
Amazing. So powerful. And, maybe there's someone in the auditorium who isn't like an upfront person, an extrovert, but they feel like they could serve there. What are the different aspects of production team?
Yes, well, I welcome anyone who even gives it a thought, to come and visit us at the back there. Yeah, we spend a lot of time. I think probably the most notable is the front of house audio.
Yep.
And then we have lighting, and we have media and the stream.
Stream
You
live
know, so
stream.
we still are streaming. We're still developing.
Yeah.
And I suppose out of all of the disciplines that we have at the back there, they're probably the biggest development is around the audio.
Yeah.
I think most people will lend towards wanting to drive the sound and how, you know, you create the feel in the room. The lighting, Boaz, once again, phenomenal job today.
Yeah.
You know, I think you've just created a whole different environment
Yeah.
with the
So
additional
true.
lights that you put on. So, and you know, it's those kind of people in that team that just bring
Yep.
their best,
Yeah.
that make it such a phenomenal place to be
Yes.
every Sunday in the house.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Who am I going to pick on next? Lums and Megan. Tell us about the Polynesian community, your heart for the Polynesian community. And yeah, why you said yes. Why did you, when I sat with you and said, hey, do you want to run the Polynesian ministry? I said, think about it for a week and get back to me. And they're like, no, it's a yes. Tell us.
I think for us, I expected Lums to at least have a month or two to think about it. But he jumped in with yes just as quick as me. I think when God's such a testimony for us with his grace and love and getting us through all the seasons we've been through and reflecting that that's in our life, we can't help but want to share and encourage and bring others to that same peace. And most importantly, culturally, we have the chance to impact and do that
Yeah.
and represent for our people, our children, and yeah, so we just said yes. You can't not say yes.
And I just want to say, I used to like grow up on the street and that back at home. So I want to be able to help out the young ones, bring them in and show them the real life in that.
Yeah.
Because like no matter what, it doesn't matter how tough or how strong you are. When it's time for you to go, you'd be like running on it, praying on your bed when it's too late. So I want to reach out to all the young kids
Yeah, good.
and that's what I want to do.
Awesome.
Give back to God, show them the way, and this is the way.
Amazing. So good. We love you guys. Lums just finished the internship last year, and the only male that my male dog doesn't bark at. So that's a win. Shakina, marketing is so powerful, especially in this generation, because I don't know how many people, actually everyone these days, tells me that they sussed us out online first. So there is a huge ministry. It's actually a ministry of communication in this virtual world that requires design and video development and all different campaigns. So can you tell us I know that you are so passionate about this, so I'd love for you just to like splash some of that on us about the marketing ministry, the why. What's the why of the marketing ministry?
I have no doubt if Jesus was walking the earth right now, he'd be using online.
Yeah.
It's just so powerful, and it can reach so many more people than my face-to-face conversation can have. And if we've got that available, why aren't we using it? And,
Yeah.
I guarantee you've all looked at City Point Redcliffe online, whether it's Google Maps or it is Instagram or Facebook, and so we just actually want to represent Jesus. We want to show the community his love. It's a pretty broken world out there, and there's a lot of pain, and so marketing communication just actually extends a hand out and welcomes into our community where they can actually find a Jesus who heals and saves and loves and is hope. And we know we've all been at the end of miscommunication, like how frustrating it is when something isn't communicated well, or how disappointing it can be, and miscommunication can cause disunity and confusion, and actually want to shut all the hurdles away and create clear pathways where people can know their next step, that they're not stuck in the moment. They know how to move forward with God and how to bring their family forward and to what He's calling them to. So that's the heart behind marketing and comms. And through graphic design, through video, like, we get to actually share people's testimonies on how God's moved in their life. It's a pretty powerful tool, and it supports every single ministry. It's not just a one department. It comes alongside everyone and really assists with communicating Jesus. So yeah.
Great. Amazing. All right, Josh, you and Belle also have an amazing story of how you came to City Point, and do you want to tell us a little bit about your story here? How many years has it been?
I have no idea. 4 years?
4 or 5 years?
Being here.
Together, married, dating.
Well, you
City
came in
Point.
these doors first.
Yes.
When was that?
That was 7 years ago now.
7. My
7.
gosh, time flies. But
I reckon
we
I
asked
could
Belle
do-
this morning her version of the story. I'd like to hear your version of the story.
Do you want me to say I was a flirt to convert again?
No, well, whatever you want. Whatever you want. Not putting words in your mouth,
My now wife was very persistent in asking me to come to church, and I did not grow up in a church family, and I was very much like, no, church wants my money, church isn't here for me, I don't need that with my life,
And look at you now.
How I get slapped in the face by that now. And then I am a prime example of discipleship from this house. I was discipled outside of the walls predominantly initially through a weekly surfing catch-up, and then connected through serving was my main thing. And we've had our story that's happened through this church that is just a testimony to God's grace over our relationship. The protection, the covering, everything that has happened with my life since coming to this church has been life-changing, to say the least. And yeah, just that discipleship one-on-one was all I needed in a time of loneliness, and I just wanted friendship and connection.
And pie.
And meat pies.
Meat
yes.
pies and surfing. Yeah. I just
The way
remember
to a
everyone
teenager.
saying, how did the two nicest people in the world find each other? Like Josh and Belle. But I remember you're always just at the back, can't be missed because you're so tall. But
Thought I was
very
funny.
much just, yeah, God got you. Yeah, amazing. And so running the family's ministry now, and a huge heart for that. Having finished internship, no, have you finished it yet?
No, I think I did 6 more months because of work. I was like in and out all last year. So to make it actually count, I'm doing 6 more months, yeah.
Okay, current intern, and so excited to see you pastor the young families of our church, having your second baby sometime soon. Yes, awesome. Cam, tell us a little bit about your story, because Ash is only awesome because you made him awesome, right?
I cannot take any credit. No, I'm a church boy growing up. I'm a Noosa from the sunny coast, and I moved down for uni, and did a stint in engineering, and then actually took on the Bachelor of Ministry at CMC. And part of that is that you do placements, like practical placements. And I got a call from a mate who was a bit tongue-in-cheek and said, Cam, I know the call of God for your life. And I said, Josh, what do you want? And he said, you should come up to Redcliffe. And I said, okay. And came up, and I was a punk 21-year-old. And my first meeting with Sam sent me home very confused. Very
Not
questioning. That's very unlike him. But then just walked in, felt home. Felt like home, and I couldn't shake that, couldn't leave that. Ended up meeting my wife, which is always pretty much a win.
Yeah.
And got connected and serving in different capacities. Cafe, I did a stint overseas, and then youth creative, youth, and now we're in ops, so it's good fun.
So good. I wish Amanda was here so we could hear her story, because
She's in the mother's room, so
Hi,
just
Amanda, we
listen
love
really
you.
hard.
She's behind that mysterious wall where there are screaming children, and you don't want to go in there unless you have to be in there. Barry and Charmaine, life groups, for, did we establish a time?
October 2020. We took over
3 years.
the coordinator role, but started Life Group July 2015.
And you were saying when you stepped into that role, there were about 10?
In the coordinator role, supporter role, there were 10 effectively working life groups.
Yep.
And welcome Kelsey, the newest life group leader as of
Yesterday, yes.
lunchtime today. So that makes, we're up to 22, and I know there's more people on the wings because I can see this crowd out here, and we look forward to meeting you all.
Yes. And we will point out that that's 22 adult life groups, because Ash
Correct.
and Marlene have got youth life groups all the way through the youth ministry too. So we could be, I don't know, over
30-ish.
30.
Yep.
Yeah. You got 14, did you say?
10, 14? I don't know.
10 or 14
What's
life groups. So that's
12
so
minus
cool.
7 times 2? That many.
Run to 7. But that's not us doing anything. That's people like yourself.
Yeah.
Listen to the Heartbeat document, listen to the message, listen to the playbook and going, I should be able to do this, and if you believe you can, and we can then provide between Charmaine and I all the support that you would need to get going and then ongoing. So it's in your heart. If you have a why, we can supply the how-to.
I don't think I can add it.
I love what you've done with supporting the life groups. Barry and Charmaine were really clear at the beginning. We want to support the life group leaders, and they've just made it so easy and so streamlined. And the induction process is empowering and straightforward. Is that right, Kelsey? Easy. Just did it this afternoon. And so thank you for everything that you've done in life groups. It really is the lifeblood of the church, because there's only so much that can happen on a Sunday, and actual discipleship and relationship and community happens during the week in so many different settings. But to unmistakably influence our world for good and for God and to disciple people happens in life groups. And there are so many different types of life groups. Do you want to talk about that?
So we've got sort of young adult, boys and girls, families. We have a breakfast every second for the over 50 issues in Deception Bay on a 7 a.m. There's a running life group. You get to the more mature adults in our life group, which is now gone online as of 2 weeks ago because our travel is getting worse, so we needed to go online and do that. So we're probably generational. And then there's 2 elderly, really mature ladies in Poppy Van Ass who's run a life group since we've been here, since 2014, every week, and then Betty Tudbury, who run one every 2 weeks. They've been running life groups. They actually give us the inspiration to do what we do because they just keep turning up week after week after week. So it's a great diversity. But not only just as a leader, if you're sitting there and you're not in a life group, please come and see us at the expo. We can get your form and see if we can find a time that works for you, for your demographic, with kids, no kids, girls, boys, young families. Yeah, mornings, nights. We have cafe settings. We have beachside settings. We have home settings. We have settings in the church. Sorry, Steve Gunser down here on my left runs the senior men's fellowship. You do need to probably be over 60, 65 for that, which probably takes most of you out. But that's a very, very important ministry for senior men who are often widowers and looking for something in their life. So we all need relationships.
Yeah.
We all need community. And that's what it's really about.
Awesome. And I know, Xavier and Emily, you've got goals for young adult life groups, to grow the number of those, to disciple young adults. Okay, Gordon and Rach, you are both incredible in your own spheres. So you're Rachel is both professionals, although you may not think so with Gordon. He actually is. And amazing in your spheres. I want to know, why did you say yes to this? When I asked you to do this, I was sitting in my lounge room, and again I said, why don't you think about it? And they're like, no, it's a yes. So running the family's ministry, why? Like, what is it that makes your heart tick for this demographic of people?
Well, we always have a bit of a theory. Why would you say no?
Right, I love that.
And I think that came from a video that we watched of Pastor Mark a few years ago, where he was talking about how he got to where he is. and how his answer is always yes.
Yep.
And so yeah, we don't say no.
Sometimes we do.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really the reason, and I think God's definitely trying to tell us something, because when we were at City Point North, we were also asked to be families as well. Even though at the time we were like, really? You want us? But yeah, I guess we just want to do a good job, and we want people to know that whatever the glossy appearance might be, we're all a bit messy underneath.
Yep.
And yeah, we just want to be there and support people. So yeah.
I could give you 100 reasons why I could have said no.
Okay.
But the Bible, well, not tonight.
Another time.
But the Bible is full of people who try to walk away, to step back, to say no. But every single time I've done something that God's been in, it seems to work.
Yeah.
And as you get older, you recognize that what have you got to be afraid of? Because life and parenting is not an easy job. And my kids will tell you that I don't always get it right. Probably 99% of the time I do. But, and we understand that, whether you're doing it with two parents, one parent, single mom, single dad, it's really difficult and a challenging time of life. But you know what? A lot of us, the success that we have in life, the success we have as individuals come because of great families, great stability, and people being around you. And that's not just mum and dad, that's families in the church.
Yeah, wow.
It takes, what is it they say? It takes a village to raise a child, and I think that's really what we want to do.
Appreciate you guys so much. So much. Remy is heading up the cafe ministry, and it is a ministry. That space is so important. Actually, one of the most spiritual decisions we ever made was improve the coffee bean. Changed people's eternities.
The coffee bean is now called Joy.
Oh, there you go, and it does bring that. Can you talk to us about the cafe ministry?
The cafe ministry, well, I'm not going to say that it's the best place to serve, because I'll leave that for Ash. But if you want something really fantastic to do, then you can serve in the cafe. And it is really an opportunity just to be able to give back to some of the people that we serve, that we connect with, that we're there with. And you know, the one thing I can remember in the back of my mind is Sam used to ring me on Tuesday mornings. How's your cafe going? And I'd say, because we had a smaller cafe, and I'd say, it's going fine. Next question, what are they eating? I'd say a vanilla slice. He'd say, oh, I'll have to get some of those. And I think it's just that passion and just the connection of people that's the most important thing within the church, within the life of church. You see it out in the community, you see it in the secular world. But in the church, it's, you know, I always say it's not just a cup of coffee. It's a coffee that's given with love, but it's also a coffee that can change somebody's life, because you're there connecting with somebody who needs a friend. You're connecting with somebody who just needs encouragement. You're connecting with somebody who just appreciates to be part of the community. And I think that's what we're looking at, and that's what God is all about, isn't it? It's loving God, loving people, and just sowing into the lives of each and every one of us. You know, it's not only us blessing you from the cafe, but it's also you blessing us as being part of the cafe. And as we serve one another, we get great blessing and joy out of serving.
Awesome. Yes, Steve and Remy have just handed over their church, been in ministry for 46 years, and moved here from Victoria just over a year ago. So, as well as doing cafe and life groups, I just want to encourage you just to say hi, because they're amazing pastors and leaders as well, and they know the answers to everything. So, very much encourage you to chat with them at some point. Well, the only person, correct me if I'm wrong, that we haven't heard from today is Gypsy. Sweet Gypsy. Let's finish with Gypsy.
I think you've heard from me.
Gypsy, just tell us, you've come out of admin in the world and excited to be working here.
Yeah.
And you were just saying to me the other day, you just have purpose for everything that you do. Just tell us about that. How can printing and typing and that sort of thing have purpose?
The only thing that I can think of is I would rather be a servant to my God than a servant to the world. And printing paper and doing all that things, it helps this service, like what you guys experience, go smoothly. What these guys do for you also goes smoothly. They can lead with excellence because they have resources available. And so basically it's my job to support you all by supporting these guys. And every single task that I do, including ordering things for the bathrooms, which two people
Do you want to share that story? It's actually so inappropriate, but it's hilarious. Who wants to hear the inappropriate admin story?
So I learned something new basically my first week being here. So it's something I've never, ever, ever done because it mortifies me.
Probably don't want to do
is
again.
To go into the men's bathroom and specifically to look in the urinals. Like, it just mortifies me. But there's this
We've got keys. Joe, it's perfect.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you. But they've got this disc that like smells nice. Yay for you.
You're welcome.
And it's splatter stoppy something. So we didn't have any. We need to order some. So Cam comes and he says, "Hey, while you're on there, can you order more of these?" And I'm like, "What are they?" And so I learnt that week that I needed to order those. And so when Pastor Carolina asked me how I'm doing, I'm saying I even ordered urinal discs and I didn't hate it.
We call it the message before the message.
Yeah.
You know, if the urinals are great,
it smells nice.
that's a win. What? Is that not possible? Never great. All right, let's move on from urinals. We love you, Gypsy. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. Can we give it up for the team? We're not recording this, so it's okay. So what now? We have an expo in the foyer, and we wanted to give you an opportunity. If something in you is like, you know what, I actually need to get involved. I know I need to do that. I have 2 hours a week. I have 2 hours a fortnight, whatever it might be. But you know you need to start contributing or take it to another level. We want to encourage you to say hi in the foyer. So the whole team's going to be out there answering any questions you might have. And I am so inspired by the thought of an engaged church, of an activated church. I know we do a lot. I know we are active, but I also know there's more in us. And the reason I know that is because there's a world out there that still needs Jesus. And God's plan was always the church. And so we're not meant to just receive. At the point of receiving Jesus, it stops being about us and it starts being about the person next to us. And so I want to encourage you to grow through serving, to connect through serving. And so come and say hello at the expo. The team will be there to answer your questions, to connect with you and be in touch this week. Can we give it over to the team, say thank you, and hand it over to Pastor Cam as we close out the service.
Thank you, team, as they take a seat. One last round of applause as they jump off. And make sure you jump out into the foyer, have a conversation, and you can even scan that QR code again on the front seat there and just fill out, I'm interested in something. Now, I can't promise you'll be ordering urinal discs. Not everyone can do that, but see what God does through you and in you. Phone. But before we move on and go out praising God and eat some, I think it's some sort of slow-cooked Moroccan chicken. Shout out to my wife. And be a part of that. Be a part of the PM Cafe team too. But before we get to there, being a part of this family isn't just about contributing and serving. It's actually belonging and believing in who Jesus is. We serve. I know in my own life, I serve because Jesus came and he transformed me. He saved me. We heard even from Lama just his story of being taken off the streets, learning what it means to serve God, that there's a compulsion from the attitude that he received from Jesus to actually outwork that in other people's lives. And so if you're in here and you're actually like you've never encountered that family God, that decision to follow Jesus for yourself, you feel him calling you, you feel that he's got your number and you just can't shake him. Tonight, this is your opportunity. This is an invitation for you to respond and say, yes, I want to follow this Jesus. I want to give my life to the Jesus who gave his life for me. My friend, let me tell you about him. He is so loving. He has never disappointed in you. He is not down on you. He is not depressed on you. Doesn't matter what you've done, what has been done to you. His life has redefined yours. And so all it is a choice. Would you come and follow him? And so tonight, what I want to do is the invitation is simple. To shoot up your hand on the count of 3. I'm going to see you. We're going to pray together. And after that, we're going to meet together and actually have a conversation around next steps. So if that's you tonight, you're saying, I need to follow Jesus and to make this decision for myself, whether it's the first time or whether you want to recommit, maybe you felt like you walked away. It's okay. He is not disappointed. He is not looking down on you. He is not condemning you. He is just waiting for you to open the door again and say, come on in, come on in. So before we count to 3, why don't we just close our eyes, just a moment of privacy and reflection for those people in the room. Saying if that's you tonight, saying I want to say yes to Jesus. Maybe the first time, maybe the 5th time, whatever it is, just saying, yeah, I feel his call, I need to come home. That's you. 1, 2, 3. You can shoot up your hand right now. Well, Father, I just thank you for the people in the room, maybe the people watching online, the people who can be here, the families represented. Thank you for calling us. Thank you for choosing us. We only love because you first loved us. So, Lord, thank you. Thank you for wiping our sin, our shame away. And, Lord, I didn't see your hand, but God, if there was a heart open, a person who responded within themselves tonight, Lord, I thank you that they have been redefined. Their story has been rewritten by you. They now no longer are slave to sin and shame, but God, they're called a son and a daughter of God, sitting in the throne of God with all the grace and all the goodness of God. So, Lord Father, we just thank you for saving them, for having them in the family. And God, I just pray an instilling of a fire for prayer, for worship, for word. And Lord, that they'd lead into the community of God and actually pursue with their whole heart. So Lord, tonight we thank you. And if there was a heart open, God, we celebrate with them. In Jesus' name, amen. Could we celebrate and thank God right now? Fantastic. If you did make that decision, I didn't see your hand. That's all good. There is a white wall on the way out, this yes bar here, and there's a couple of people there that are actually just waiting for you, waiting to have a conversation. We believe that it's not a decision that changes everything. It's actually a decision followed up by the discussion and actually a continual following that changes a life. It's getting connected with people. It's doing life groups and jumping on team even and seeing how you can get connected and serve. And so there's Bibles for you over there. There's people that are waiting to connect with you. Even if you're not ready to make a decision, you just have questions. Find yourself over there, ask some questions, and we would love to have that conversation. But we're going to go out praising God. So why don't we stand to our feet right now? Make sure you...